Yeah, I guess we could talk about it now. I guess we could talk about it now. Yeah, because this what I'm getting at. This what I'm getting at is loyalty a preach practice of manipulation. And this whole situation is a prime example of that. You got a lot of actions, you got a lot of reactions, you got a lot of behavior that's some acceptable, some unacceptable. And you take a deep dive in it, you just start from the beginning. That's where, you know, that's where the truth is. The truth is in the beginning. If you didn't know, always go to the beginning, and you can see the truth become obvious. Not the way people conduct themselves. That's something on the inside of them, and it's subject to judgment. So you got the whole BMF situation, right? So BMF was a group of young black men highly successful in illicit activities, illegal activities, right? These guys branded themselves on street ethics, morals, values, principles, loyalty. Everybody get money. We putting we not putting nothing above us as a whole, as a group, as a unit. There's a walking billboard. There's a whole movement based on those street ethics, right? That's the beginning. So, you know, they get locked up. Everybody get, you know, indicted in the first wave. You got some that was out here, Blue Da Vinci and others. They got wrapped up in the second wave. Blue Da Vinci went to take a deal, but he had to debrief. And in the debrief, that means you're giving information. What information? We don't know. But you debrief, nigga. The definition of debrief is to give us the knowledge of what you obtained during the time you were involved. That's what a debrief is. So that document from that debrief session is sealed. Unseal it, nigga. And we'll get off your head so we could see what was said. Until we see what was said, we'll get off your head. But you could get the document. So your allegation's still there. So once they threw his allegations out, he became disgruntled. He became set out to find any damaging information he could on the main guy, his guy. Okay, let's move forward. Um, time go by. Not too long ago, it was some allegations on Meech on a young man named Cuffy out of St. Louis. Said he did a third party cooperation. He got in contact with Blue, and Blue delivering the message like he's a disgruntled. It's almost like he's making a mad move. It's almost Blue is almost unbelievable because of the allegations that he got. So it's coming across like he a hater. So a lot of everybody not receiving it because one, how a rat gonna call another man a rat. All right. So we move on. 50 Cent enter. He take Lil Meech under his wing. No. He get with Tammy. They discuss the business. He pulled Lil Meech out. He basically got rolled the carpet, made it easy for him, sent him to school, made sure he get the role, made sure he knew what he was doing as an actor so he could play it because he looked so much like his dad. It almost adds value to the show. We know 50 is a businessman. He thought about that. He thought that through. That was a good move. Everybody got checks. Meech got a check. T got a check. Lil Meech got a skill and a check. Everybody, image and likeness that was portrayed in that show got a check. There was even plans of spinoffs. Because one thing I could say that Meech did was ingrained himself so much in hip hop culture that story is just a part of it. They're just a part of it. They made themselves a part of the hip hop culture. You can't talk about one without talking about the other, you know, or the effect that the other had on the other one. All right. So season 1, success. Season 2, success. No, let me back up. Before the premiere, you have Blue come back out. He's disgruntled again. He's upset about how he's going to be portrayed in the series. All right. Some hater shit. He's mad. He's disgruntled. He's still holding a grudge about that, the allegations that was placed upon him by what he did. And he did it. So you got him running around doing his press run against the show and them having the premiere of the show. So this is why whatever Blue says or come up with that's negative against Meech is not received well. Nobody's believing him because of his own allegations. So then you got people that was close to the situation, understood what Blue Roll was, and was just understood he wasn't a factor for real. So you got that happening. So the premiere happens. It was a huge success. Show number one. Everybody got a good payday. T gets out of jail. COVID shit. So T out doing this thing, moving and grooving. 50 meet up with him. And I don't understand what they think the business is. You see, they may be creating numbers that's not real numbers and think they should get more than what they should get. So there may be some confusion in that, and some real intense conversations behind it. So we don't know nothing about it. Season 2 come out. It goes down. Success. Number one. Some reason T decides to take a picture with nope. This was after season 3. T decides to take a picture with Supreme's son, saying free Preem. Preem is the same guy that tried to unalive 50 Cent. That's a slap in the face. But T side wasn't Meech side. Meech side was the actual side that was seen, that promoted these street ethics that everybody lived by. Everybody that's involved with the streets is supposed to uphold and live by. So we understand how T might not feel as if he should have no allegiance to anyone. When it comes to Meech, he didn't take T son and sent T son to acting school. He got Meech son, sent Meech son to acting school. Although it added value to the show, it was still something that he didn't have to do. So taking on the whole show and providing people with jobs and giving people checks, we understand that that's business. All right. But the extra stuff, the ensuring that your son get this role. At what point do the walking billboard for street ethics apply those ethics to something outside of himself? That's just when it comes to loyalty. Because if you locked up, you're not spending no money because it don't cost money to be in jail. The state provides you with everything, including commissary, and you can only spend so much on that. So you got You got your commissary, but you got there's nothing for you to spend money on housing wise if you being housed in a facility. So you should have money when you get out. Your money should be stacking. Your money should be stacking. So when you get out after 3 or 4 years later, you get out, you shouldn't have to hook up with an enemy of of someone that provided or is providing an opportunity for you, a legal opportunity. But that's the question. That's the question. When do the street ethics of loyalty, morals, values, and principles apply to something outside of yourself? That's the question. So if somebody that took on your story, took liking to your son, made a way for him, and basically paid your whole family, at what point do you be loyal to that? Or is it just about you and what you want to do? And this is seriously, to me, it's a man question. It's a question for men because BMF was a group of men. There wasn't no girls in BMF. It was a group of men. And men, we understand loyalty different than women. So this conversation is for the fellas. We all know we grown. We all make decisions, some good, some bad. And we are willing to live with the decisions or lay in the consequences of the decisions that we make. As men, you should. So there's no that it's with that being said, with you being locked up, getting paid for something that that you're a part of, your money should have been stacked enough. So you haven't even been out a year yet. Where the money go? I'm gonna tell y'all where the money went because we're gonna take it back to the beginning. How did we first hear about BMF? They was buying everything. BMF was buying everything. They bought all the Cristal at the bars. They threw all the money at the strip clubs. The nigga was a big trick. Meet you a trick. And you was tricking from jail for all that money to be gone months. You only been out. You ain't even been out a year. You ain't been out 6 months, 3 months. The money gone already. According to your son, you need bill money. No way in the fuck you should need bill money after you ain't been out for 3 weeks, 3 months, if that. But that's the question. Is loyalty preached practice of manipulation, because it seemed like you, when you had your, or when BMF was going strong, you preached loyalty, but you was preaching people to be loyal to you. That's what you was preaching. Loyalty was the biggest. Loyalty was the focal point of your organization. You preached that. So when do loyalty apply to anything outside of yourself? It should have been the 50 Cent situation. It's not about whether that man could tell you what and what not to do. It's about you being a thinking man. You had time to think. And it seemed like you made a mad rush move when you couldn't get what you wanted. And you went with the first or the easiest thing you could do without opening your mouth. And on and it's something J-Bo said when he got out. He said you could talk, like you was a real charismatic person. So I don't understand how somebody with that much charisma and influence wouldn't want to talk. And this shit ain't rocket science. It's just keeping it simple. They keep this shit simple, bro. Don't never want to complicate shit with too many. Like, okay, so you don't want to overcook your greens. You don't want to put too much seasoning on your chicken. So you just follow the recipe. Just keep it simple. There ain't nothing to add, nothing to take away. Just go with what's there. And you can come up with the truth just based on the discernment of shit. Cause I don't see why is it you ain't been out of jail for 3 months, but you need bail money. And you had to go get it from someone that'll knock you out of the situation that you started with. Your first legal situation, it didn't take 3 months. 90 days, you was over with. So yeah, that's what it is, man. When do loyalty apply to something outside of yourself? We understand you got to be loyal to yourself first. So that means you got to ask yourself a lot of questions when you're dealing with people. Would you want you got to set a standard for yourself. If you don't have a standard for yourself, then you out here just doing anything. It all rolls back to the treat people how you want to be treated. That's what it rolled back to. Because I'm almost positive coming from someone else, it wouldn't be accepted. Yeah, coming from somebody else, it wouldn't be accepted, bro. You ain't fooling nobody, man. Um, Loyalty is a thing, and it's a thing for those that understand. People say Tony Ayo is a puppet, but he's not. The folks grew up together. That's one nigga that you could honestly say he gonna ride right or wrong. But when you dealing with other niggas, when you let other niggas to get to grow in an organization, you have to show that you capable of standing on your own. That's to me, that's number one. Because I can't it can't be a situation that's created where you gotta be loose and go deal with all these other niggas. You gotta be okay with being by yourself. You gotta be okay with not having to make a move that'll look like it's a move against me. You gotta be okay with considering how this would affect your relationship between someone and someone else, between you and someone else. You got to consider all that shit. That's these are basic things of loyalty. Like you just loyalty isn't blind. You got to have a certain level of intelligence, I guess, when it comes to loyalty, because you got to think, you got to use your head. If you're not using your head and you just doing whatever, you gonna offend any and everybody. If you don't you have to set a standard for yourself. That's how you be loyal to yourself, by creating standards. That's how you keep yourself out of bullshit. That's how you keep yourself out of negativity, because you know what to feed into and what not to feed into, because you living by a standard. But a standard, it takes discipline, and everybody not disciplined enough. But everybody make mistakes. So you just try to minimize the mistakes you make. Everybody, it's a lot of people making excuses, trying not to see the obvious, disregarding the writing on the wall because it ain't saying what you want it to say. And a lot of these niggas either wanna wanna be attached to that situation, um, or or still see value in that situation. And even when you even in joining the military, you have to stay there long enough and build up enough rank to kind of do what you want to do. But not saying that that situation was a military situation, but it's more of a situation that like I invested in you. Yeah, I saw a return in my investment, but I believed in you. And the only way you repay me is when you get mad that I don't take care of you. Is you go and get bought. You could have did anything else. I ain't even gonna get on Lil Meech right now. He understand loyalty too. He loyal to a fault for real because he was siding. He was trying to stay in alignment with what he had going on. So he understand loyalty. He get it. But it just like when it just seemed like when it come to, you know, the actual person that's the focal point of the brand, if it ain't loyal to him, he ain't loyal to it. And loyalty to him is a manipulation tactic. Because where I'm at is if you ain't walking it like you talk it, or if you ain't practicing what you preach, and you can't hold nobody to no standard, and you damn near capable of all the shit it seemed like you would do. But that's this thing called discernment that everybody's it's damn near like common sense. Common sense ain't common. So I'm trying to put some common sense on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put common sense on it and not put, you know, no feeling in it or no bias because a motherfucker from where I'm from. Cause you know, everybody in Detroit ain't no real nigga. But we set the tone for a lot of shit though. So you gotta hold motherfuckers accountable no matter whether you love them or not. That's the standard. Niggas need to hold that. You gotta hold yourself to that standard. Accountability. You gotta hold yourself accountable for shit. Just so you can hold somebody else accountable for it when they mess up. But that's the question. Is loyalty a preached practice of manipulation? Niggas only want to be loyal. Niggas only niggas dis niggas is disregarding loyalty until they bitch cheat on them. And bitches is only disregarding loyalty until they nigga cheat on them. And now you wasn't loyal, the bitch. It was business. Because everything is a contract. Some contracts are long term, some are short. Some are minute to minute, some are day to day, some are weekly. But when you decide to allow a person within your circle, there are rules that person is gonna have to follow. But they're gonna have to have this some sort of a standard. They're gonna have to be a certain way before you allow them into your circle. And I don't know why we can't understand that. But it's like I said, like I tell my homie all the time, bro, we outnumbered. Niggas ain't on that. We're not the popular vote out here. It's only a few of us. We way outnumbered. The people that don't, the people that understand what we understand is few and far in between. With these square motherfuckers, they outnumber us, and they have this is a platform for them to give their opinion about some shit that they don't even know about. A motherfucker told me, I said, man, I don't think you understand the dynamics of how these operations and shit work. Motherfucker said, I don't give a fuck how they work. So how you gonna have an opinion? At that point, it was time to stop talking to him because you don't want to understand no further than what you understand. And you don't understand shit. So you don't try to force the game on the nigga. You just kind of keep him where he at. I'm not finna argue with no man that don't want to understand the dynamics of how this shit, how some real street shit go. If he talking to me like he know it, but if I'm in the conversation, if you're not understanding what I'm telling you, then you just don't understand this shit. And then when I tell you specifically, maybe you don't understand the dynamics of it. You say you don't want to. So the conversation stopped. Ain't nothing else to talk about. It's not even something to argue about. It's just time to move on. It's time to have another conversation. So everybody the masses is not gonna understand when it comes to being loyal because they never been loyal to anything. But the motherfuckers that been involved, that been in this shit, even as a gang, when you get your put on and you can't just do what the fuck you want to do. You got to learn the rules. You got to learn the structure. Once you put in enough work, then you able to have certain freedoms. And that's how the game works. You can't just, no one comes in and just that nigga. You work your way up to that. You work your way up to being able to move in accordance to how you want to move. So if by in working your way up, you understand how to move. And that's the part that people don't get. But it's only a few of us that's gonna get that. And that's okay. Because I'm not trying to convince the world or tell no secrets about what's going on to enlighten the motherfucker that don't care. And for the most part, it's a lot of women out here with their opinion about this. And it's because Meech was the biggest trick in America. They want him to have the money because he's gonna go and throw it in the air. So of course they, you know, that's why I said this is in the beginning. I said this is a conversation for the fellas. This conversation really, they're not even supposed to be involved because they're not gonna understand when it comes to actually side by side rocking with somebody in the street. They're not gonna understand the bond that's created within that every day, that not having nothing, coming outside and y'all go get something to eat. You want some wings? Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna say wings. I'm gonna say you go get a double cheeseburger meal. You split the cheeseburger in half and you split the fries and the drink. They not gonna understand that because by the time they came around, everybody was buying their own plate. So that's why we gotta kind of swipe away the clutter, swipe, X out the pop ups because they just in the way. Loyalty is not manipulation. Loyalty is stepping uh, uh, um, into a situation and starting from the bottom and working your way up within that organization or that structure and playing by the rules and the structure that's and the standard that's within that structure. And that's all 50 Cent building. Now, do what if he knew the information prior to? Maybe it's possible. It's possible 50 found out what was going on and cut ties with him. That's very well possible because that's what you're supposed to do when you find out that type of information about a nigga. Because I really don't think it might have. I don't know if I think Blue, when he was saying it at first in the beginning, it came across as some hater shit. Like you just hating. And then you hearing the stories about him and you're like, oh, he's just trying to deflect. But then it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on it because it may be some truth to it. Because guess what? I don't really know these people. So sometimes it take longer than a day or 6 months. Because one thing about a government informant, a CI, a confidential informant, they're not just gonna come into your life and say, "Yeah, man, I'm a confidential informant, man. I came over here to try to take you down, my nigga." That's not how they introduce themselves. So we're not gonna sit here and act like that. You know, we're not gonna be naive. We're not gonna act like they just come into this motherfucker. Cause they just walk up on you, say, "Hey, yeah, man, I'm a CI. You know, I just came around. You know what I'm saying? Try to buy some work for you, throw you in jail." It's not how. That's not how that works. But we do know once we do find out, we will cut ties because that's a danger. Nobody's gonna. We not. Nobody gonna just keep the motherfucker around. Like, well, you're useless. You're here for destruction. So he could have, became aware of the information and what was going on, and just was like, you know what, I ain't fucking with these niggas. All right, I made enough money, or I don't care about making no money. Y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. Because having the information and knowing the information is harboring. It's harboring. Now, what I think may have happened, and I could be wrong, is Meech probably did when he got out. He probably did stop fucking with Tammy. He already know what kind of chick he is, and he already know what kind of bag he finna try to chase. He can't have her around, and random street niggas is dropping money off to him. Bitch, you with the police. So when that relationship went sour, she probably wouldn't. She not just gonna run tail. She already know she can't just go run tail 50 because he don't have no problem with him. He probably won't even. I'm not sure. But I think 50 got enough sense not to just be having loose conversations with her. Or if he know that she mad at him, then he don't want to talk to her. Or she probably didn't even try to reach out to the nigga. But once he took that picture, that's when she knew, I got him. Now I can expose him. And he took the call. And she told everything. So I it could have worked like that. To me, that's how that's 9 times out of 10 how I see that playing out like the way it did. Because the man said that's one relationship you should have nurtured. You shouldn't have never fell out with this one. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to put some paint where it ain't, man. It still I seem like everybody all over the place. In disbelief, discombobulated because the man and the myth and the legend is out. He free, and don't nobody want to tarnish his name, or don't nobody want to accept no flaw from him because he portrayed himself as this top dog, stand up street nigga of the world, Craig, but he ended up being Day Day. I hope he ain't asked nobody how he looked before he took that picture. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to put some paint where it ain't, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. It's late. Y'all ain't commenting and talking back to me. I'm gonna leave it like this, bro. You have to have a standard for yourself in order to understand loyalty. And you have to if you want loyalty, or if you preaching loyalty within your crew, you have to understand how to be loyal, not only to your crew, but to something outside of you.